kind of sit there and try to process everything you saw, even though you know you're not going to be able to process it in that moment. It's that good. For Ryan Coogler to go from Black Panther and Creed to a movie like this, the range is unmatched, man. Shout out to Ryan. Now, I'm not going to have a lot of spoilers in here, maybe no spoilers, because they are trying to reach a budget goal with this movie. I think it's about in the $45 million range for opening weekend, and they're trying to get way higher than that. So I want y'all to stay interested and have a sense of urgency about going to see it. So I won't be giving you a lot of spoilers, but I'm going to talk about some stuff. But I got to kick this thing off by giving praise to D. Ryan Coogler. Ooh, that's a bad boy. To go from Black Panther and Creed, Fruitvale Station, to a movie like this man's range is unmatched. There are literally no limits to his range. And he was like, this is just a movie for me that I wanted to make. And that's why I'm standing in front of B.B. King's painting. This was made by Lorenzo Gayton, an amazing trombonist in Jackson, Mississippi. But Ryan said he had an uncle who lived in Mississippi who always listened to the blues, and that is who this movie is inspired by. And he talks about the uncle passing away, and he was busy and didn't get to really spend a lot of time with him at the end of his life. So this is his tribute to his uncle. He also talked about seeing a cotton field for the first time, asking the driver to pull over and being so connected, and he decided to make this movie. So it is set in Clarksdale, Mississippi, but it was filmed in New Orleans, Louisiana. But shout out to Ryan. That man is genius, man. Yeah, bro. So bro, I was out at the cotton field. So I told the driver, pull over, driver, because I ain't never seen a cotton field. You know what I mean? And my uncle used to listen to jazz. He used to listen to jazz and blues, and you know that's the motivation for the movie. You know what I'm saying? That's where I got the idea from on God, bro. Because you know what I'm saying? Like my uncle, that's what we listen to, bro. That's what we listen to, bro. He listened to the blues, bro. And I was like, man, it's dope, you know, so I wanted to dig into that, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to dig into that, and then that's where Sinners came from, bro. So, yeah, that's what happened for real, though. And, you know, this is how I talk, bro. Like, my mama told me, like, when I was growing up in Oakland, like you gonna sound like them one day. Yeah, man, this is my accent, bro, you know what I'm saying? But it don't matter, though. It don't matter what I sound like, 'cause I'm still a genius, and I make a lot of dope movies, you know what I'm saying, bro? So, yeah, that's what Sinners is about, bro. Yeah, bro. Now, let me go.
Live streaming is more than just a trend. It's a way to connect, share, and inspire. But setting up.
Now, let me go ahead and get this out the way. A lot of people think this is a horror movie and it's scary. Jump scares is not like that. Ryan Coogler describes it as genre fluid. So there are some elements of horror, but it's also some drama. It's some relationship stuff in there. Speaking of relationship stuff, do not go see this with your young kids. You're going to be like me when I went to see Deadpool. I thought Deadpool was like a variation of Spider-Man, and I get in there and they cussing and stuff. I was completely caught off guard. But this is not a movie for children, even preteens. There's a lot of sexual themes, a lot of sexual language. It's straight up freaky sometimes. So do not go to the movies with your kids to see this. It's a lot of gore, a lot of violence. I don't consider it horror. It's a great storyline. You know, it doesn't get, you know, scary till about the end. But, you know, there are vampires, but they ain't like scary vampires. But this is not Twilight. Okay. Do not take your kids to go see this. I'm also seeing accusations and assertions that the movie is anti-Christian, and I'm also going to vehemently disagree with that. Now, some of y'all might not follow me for this, but if your relationship with God is that weak that a movie can uproot all your beliefs and change your beliefs in God, well, you might need to gauge and assess the strength of your relationship with God. It is just a movie. It's not built on a true story. So just keep that in mind. I also find it interesting that the same folks can see a movie and claim that it's anti-Christian and disruptive to the spirit will watch reality shows all day where they fighting and cussing each other out. But that's cool. That's real life. But a movie is a problem. Come on, y'all, get it together. First thing first, don't be like me. Be on time for the movie, okay? I was about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes late, and I missed a couple important scenes at the beginning of the movie, but I had to go back and read, and I figured out what they were. Basically introducing Sammy, who was the protagonist in the movie, the young man who was a guitar player and blues singer. Beautiful voice, actually, in real life. He's been touring with her, H.E.R. for about 16 years, and this was his first major film. Amazing job, that young young man. But in the movie, his music has the power to transcend eras, okay? So it can take you from this era to another era, connect you to the ancestors. And I mean, that's just the power of black music in general anyway. So that's what he does in the movie. I missed that part. And then the twins, Smoke and Stack, both masterfully played by Michael B. Jordan. The beginning of the movie, they are buying this sawmill from some KKK members. And this is also going to be the setting of their juke joint that they're having opening night at later on. So I think that's what I missed. So let me get into some character breakdowns. Michael B. Jordan, sir. Sexy ass Joker, he a super fine god. Let's talk about this body first. We're going to get into the classic portrayal of Smoke and Stack in this movie, but this man's body is unlike anything I've ever seen in the year 2025. You know, it is very seldom that you see somebody in movies just gradually get finer and finer and finer and finer. And this time we had double fine. He was doubly fine because he was two twins. He was two men at the same time. Michael B. Jordan, you fine as hell. Now, I don't know if I'll go back to the other side for you because it seemed like it'll be a lot of competition over there. But I just want you to know you are fine as hell, sir. And you did a splendid job as Smoke and Stack in this movie. So these were the main characters in the movie. And of course, my mind went to Smoke Stack Lightning because I used to play the drums and the blues. And that's one of the songs we used to play, Smoke Stack Lightning. Ooh. Y'all remember that? Go look it up. Smoke Stack Lightning. Ooh. Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan was Smoke and Stack at the same damn time. They were similar in that they were kind of like gangsters. They worked under Al Capone in Chicago. They come back to the South. They get ready to open up this juke joint. Now, Smoke, you would think that Smoke would be the rah-rah one, like, come get this smoke. But he was arguably the more even keel, the more level-headed one in comparison to Stack, who was like about their life. Like, Stack was a YN, okay, in the movie, basically. Both of them YNs, but Stack was a YN. And what's really interesting about the twin dynamic in this movie is that they are different in their personalities, but there's a very strong dependability. So one doesn't really want to make a move without the other, even though he may not trust or agree with the approach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that connection with twins is so deep. It's like, nah, bro, I'm not about to defy you because you're my brother, and we connected and we support each other regardless. But you will see as the movie progresses that becomes a little problematic. And I just had to do a deep dive about how Michael B. Jordan was able to so proficiently portray both these characters on screen. And Ryan said that he was basically in character most of the time on set. And that's the kind of commitment it takes to pull something like that off. They even had twin consultants. So Ryan had some homies from back in the day who are twins, and they had to come in and teach Michael B. Jordan how to operate as twins. So they did their research. It ain't like this some haphazard stuff they just threw together in this movie. Like, it is really well thought out and very well executed. So some other amazing characters in the movie were the love interests of Smoke and Stack. And we can start with Smoke. His love interest was Annie, who's also his baby mama. And this is also why I'm telling you, don't take your children to this movie because you're going to be covering their eyes. Hell, I wanted to cover my eyes, but the love scenes get real steamy. Okay, so if you in heat, you might get turned on. But Smoke had a love interest named Annie. And this is this wonderful actress. Her name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Wunmi Mosaku, maybe? This woman is amazing in everything she is in. I initially saw her in Lovecraft, and I was like, ooh, who is this? Just the depth in which she acts, the believability is just so strong. So in the movie, she was like the hoodoo lady, you know what I mean? So she got the trinkets and the oils and all that kind of stuff, and she's trying to work that hoodoo magic. You know, she dealing with the spirituality of everything, the energy of everything. And there's a lot of tension between her and Smoke. They suffered a loss in the past, and you can tell that they are still grieving that loss, but they are still connected to each other as well. But I really like her character in the movie because she moving like, hey. And, you know, as the movie progresses, she becomes very resourceful in fighting the enemy. All right. So shout out to her. Beautiful woman. Acting is superb, and I really am looking forward to seeing her in more stuff. And let me just say this, after one of her scenes, I am convinced that I need to be eating garlic every day, okay? Because you just never know when you're going to be around a vampire and you need some protection, all right? So if y'all come around me in the near future and I smell like garlic, that's why, because I'm finna eat it. I'm going to put it in my cereal. I'm going to put it in my tea. I got to be protected around here. Garlic for life. Now, Stack's old flame in the movie is Haley Stanfield. She played the role of Mary. And just from the jump, you can tell that she is trouble, okay? She had this look on her face, just kind of sinister, like, I'm going to get you, sucker. And you can just tell she trouble, you know what I mean? So throughout the movie, she starts off as trouble and she just becomes more and more troublesome. But again, their chemistry on screen was amazing. She was very seductive. And let me just say this, okay? Fellas, y'all got to learn to think with this head, all right? Do you know what I'm suggesting? Because a lot of y'all only think with this head. You got to think with this head from time to time. It could be the difference between life and death for you, okay? So that's what y'all need to deduct from her role in the movie. Think with this head. Amen and amen again. And another thing about Sammy in the movie, the young man who played the guitar, and the twins realized that he had a super duper, or even a supernatural gift. It just made me think about church musicians, which I am. I was a church musician. My mother is a church musician. And that push and pull between us and the church and being in the world playing music. And I will give my honest feelings about that. I do not believe God gave us immense talent to just be limited to the church. It ain't nothing wrong if you are just like, I'm playing in the church, I play for God, and that's all I do. But listen, I have been in the club playing, I have been in the casino playing, and folks have come up to me like, I needed that. Your gift has inspired me. Your gift has saved me. So that was really interesting and almost a little triggering. Because sometimes the church will condemn you. If you're a musician and you go outside the church, well, first of all, if you pay your musicians enough money for all these services and all these things that they have to go to, maybe they won't have to leave outside the church. But in the event that they do, I really wish that church folks would not persecute and attempt to condemn musicians who decide to go outside the church. And ultimately, I just believe that the power of Black music and Black musicians just should not be suppressed. It should not be suppressed. There is a scene in this movie where Sammy is playing in the middle of the juke joint, and all of a sudden things start happening. Different genres of music, different people from different eras start to come into the frame because Sammy is playing this music. And all of a sudden, I got chills. My eyes started to wilt because I'm thinking about the power, the undeniable power of Black music, how that is a form of expression for us. That is the whole reason that juke joints exist, because we weren't allowed in white clubs. Now, we could go in there, but we would have to go through the back door. We couldn't drink from the same water fountain or use the same bathroom. But the juke joint was our safe space. It was our safe haven. It was our refuge. So that particular scene in the movie, and when you see it, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Man, that was powerful. And that scene was a reminder for me that Black creativity permeates and pierces. It can pierce through oppression. It can pierce through depression. Once y'all see the scene in that movie, y'all will know exactly what I'm talking about. So shout out to Sammy and that young man. His real name is Miles, for just allowing God and the spirit and the ancestors to use him in that scene. Because once you feel it, you're going to feel what I feel right now. So be on the lookout for that one. All right, 2 more characters and I'm going to wrap this up. Remick in the movie was by far the most creepy to me, all right? Because he kind of had a Karen vibe going on, but he was also a vampire, and you could tell he was up to no good. But this whole thing with the vampires about they have to be invited in. Oh my Lord, just the depth of that. I never even thought about that. Like, some people you just don't need to invite into your life. It could avoid you a whole lot of heartache and trouble and stress. So that was a good point. But Remick we can't just limit his role to racism, all right? Because you initially think he's just trying to penetrate and take the souls of all the black people in the juke joint. But it's much deeper than that. He is of Irish descent. So, they've had their own experiences with oppression. But he's like, masking his message with, it's just about love. And he's trying to get Sammy because he believes Sammy's music can connect him to the ancestors. But Remick had a whole lot of layers to him. But one thing I caught in the movie, I don't know if this is what Ryan was trying to say, but it seemed like the assertion was that white people gonna stick with white people, okay? Because it was a whole race of people who came and told these white folks, hey, that boy, something wrong with him, okay? He on fire, basically, at your front door. So he's bad news. You need to let us handle him. And they were like, no, he's safe here. He's skin of our skin, flesh of our flesh. And next thing you know, they were eating flesh right along with him. So I don't know if that's what Ryan was trying to say, that they stick with their kind. We need to stick with our kind, but that's what I got from it. You know what I mean? And last but not least, I got to give Mr. Delroy Lindo his flowers. Man, when I tell y'all, he massacred this role in the best way. He embodied the character and bodied the character. Like seeing him in movies for all these years, to come in and just take over a role like this, like it was just so freaking impressive. His Southern accent was amazing. He was playing a drunk musician. He was very convincing with that. And he was a wise older man, but he was also very funny. Like I felt like I was watching my uncle or my grandpa, from the South in this role. Delroy was great. He was great. So shout out to him. I really, really hope he gets the praise and the honor that he deserves for this role, because he absolutely killed it. So that was excellent casting by you, Ryan, to have Delroy Lindo in that role. I could not have seen anybody else in that role. So shout out to him. All right, y'all, that's all I got. I know this is by far the longest movie review I have ever done, but it was just that amazing. It moved me just that much. So much that I'm going to see it in IMAX. That's how you know I like it, because I don't even go to the movies like that no more because it's too damn expensive. $26 for one person. Hell no. Then they got you reclining in the seats and you go to sleep at the movie. Now I done wasted my money, but I'm going back to see this one because I need to see it again. I want to experience it again. But I'm going to tell you like Ryan Coogler would say. It's your boy Ryan Coogler, bro. Y'all go see my movie Sinners, bro. You know what I'm saying? I sin today, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like we all sinners, bro. So the movie is lit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I did Black Panther and then I did the Creed, and you know what I'm saying? But this different right here, bro. Like we spent money, like $90 million on this one.